Good morning, viewers. Now, in continuation of our lessons on fraud awareness, though I have earlier briefly mentioned about the whistleblowers, recently I have come across an ACFV magazine article, and I thought I should again tell a few points on that one. In due course, I'll be preparing a PPT also on the same. But today I want to briefly give a small introduction about this whistleblowers thing. The thing is, it is very clearly and explained that apart from the definition of fraud, which we discussed earlier, and what is a whistleblower? A whistleblower is the one, and here we are talking basically from the point of view of an employee of a company blowing a whistle. It is not about the third parties or somebody. We are talking about an employee's point of view or from a person who is working in a company. So whistleblowing is something which an unethical or unacceptable or that is not in line with ethical. The person who observes his colleague, a peer, a senior, or whosoever it is in the organization, and then disclosing it to the appropriate people in the first organization, and if needed to outside agencies like statutory authorities or something, or even police also where the need arises. So that's a basic thing about the whistleblowers, which we all know. And anyway, the thing is, in this article, it is very clearly explained. I mean, why people blow the whistle, and what are the consequences or pitfalls in this whistleblowing, and what are the psychological aspects in whistleblowing, and viewpoint of whistleblowers, and characters involved in whistleblowing, and why whistleblowers lose in many court cases, and a brief conclusion and examples of few whistleblowing. That's how I'm going to deal in the PPT at length in a few slides. But here, basically, just to give an introduction about it one, see, people blow the whistle due to the severity of the or gravity of the situation, or who stumbles upon a grave misconduct or wrongdoing of a peer or a fellow employee or a junior or a management, whosoever it is. So also whistleblowers, they take quite some time, sometimes months, sometimes even years, to investigate, to be very much sure that before they blow the whistle, they have adequate evidence to support their allegation about the and their whistleblowing of a particular issue or a particular person. Because as we all know, and repeatedly we have studied earlier, without evidence, the evidence aspect itself I have dealt at length in previous lesson. Without evidence, whatever effort you do, whatever report you give, courts will turn a blind eye and strike the case off. And so this collection of evidence takes quite a bit of time, ranging from a few months to a year to something. So after a prolonged investigation of his suspicion, first the suspicion arises, the suspicion has to be substantiated by evidence. That is a process. Also, all this may take time. So that is why when 45 to 50% notice a wrongdoing in the organization, only 65% of them report their observations after evidence seeking. See, it is reported that even though it is not all misdoings of 100% are reported, even assuming some 50% are reported, out of that 50% only, 50% come to the notice. I mean, only 65% of that 50% only are exposed, because only those which I have can be adequately covered with enough sufficient evidence to satisfy the court of law. So that's what they have said it. And so And then there is a psychology involved also in the whole whistleblowing. See, and whistleblowers face bullying from peers, bullying from fellow employees and all. People who are not concerned also don't like, because they feel why this fellow is reporting all that. Is that necessary, needed something? And also they may be afraid that one day some a person doing misdoing also may worry that one day he also may be exposed. So first there are a lot of these issues involved, bullying and harassment, threats, and all these things. And also there are 2 points, like ethical viewpoint and legality point of view. Okay, so there are two things. So whistleblowing is more when norms of fairness dominate legality, loyalty. Okay, and whistleblowing is done when loyalty dominates over fairness. So the whistleblowers are basically see at the fairness of the thing. See, okay, if one is loyal to company, loyal to his fellow employees and all that, and is emotional, he cannot blow the whistle, obviously. So the person who blows the whistle, he normally has the characteristic of being fair to the situation, not being loyal to the organization. If you're loyal to the organization, like mostly of all the countries, Japan, there are quite a few cases like Toshiba and all, where people do not want to expose the company or the management, okay, and then hide till some other person, some bold person or some external person exposes the thing. So it is loyalty versus fairness. People who blow the whistles do not look at the loyalty; they are fair and blow the whistle. And also there are some characters that influence whistleblowing, which are very nicely explained in that article. There are personal characters, situational characters, cultural factors. See, those are under three categories that are explained. Whereas personal characters means he is a long-standing employee, okay, with a good pay, and also increase higher people who is highly educated, and mostly the gender is male. It is observed that it is a male employee who reports majority of these whistleblowing cases, okay, than compared to female employees. And also they are educated and also reasonably long-standing with the company. And situational means if there is organizational support, there are adequate, protection to the whistleblower, and adequate dissemination of knowledge of ways to report unethical behaviors in the organization. All these are also there in a very systematic way in the organization also. The people who are ready to blow the whistle, they have they are confident that things will be taken to task. And cultural factors, very important. See, in cultural factors, as I already explained earlier of this loyalty thing, in Asia, China, Taiwan, Japan, or possibly even in India, the employees are more loyal to their bosses, to the organization, that they think twice before reporting or whistleblowing of any undoing, unethical, and unwarranted thing, or any corruption, bribery, which is observed, unethical behaviors before they report, or they do not even report at all. They just let it go. So this is observed that it happened mostly in this Asia, China, Japan, Taiwan, I would say in India also. Okay, so because their loyalty plays the thing, not fairness. If I observe something and if I bring loyalty in front of me, I cannot report it. But if I think it's not fair, it's unfair that that fellow is cheating the company, or they're cheating the management, or the management is cheating the employees or the shareholders, then the fairness point of view, I report. So that is also one of the cultural factors that are very important of a whistleblower. So the all these risk also, there are a lot of risks and pitfalls that a whistleblower faces. People don't like honest honest people. I don't understand. Person is fair and honest and reports. He will be looked after as an alien. As a thing. Oh, why this fellow is unnecessarily meddling? Why this fellow unnecessarily thing? What they do not understand is, if not the fellow employee, one day the auditor or statutory authority or third party or somebody is going to catch his neck. It's a matter of time. Okay, if an employee catches him, it may be earlier, but if another party catches, it will be a bit much later. But the bottom line, as we have repeatedly studied, fraudster will be caught. Fraudster will be punished. He has to pay for his misdoings. That is very clear. So, like that, we have now come across these various things. So, this is all about the nature of the personality of the psychology of the whistleblower, and why whistleblower occurs, and why it is more in some countries, why it is less in some other. Okay, so this I am going to briefly put a PPT shortly, and it will be quite useful for people studying this subject of the fraud or others. Thank you.